Hi, and today we will be making this beautiful Spider-Man animation in HTML, CSS and JavaScript, and you can see how the shadow is changing as well. Basically, we will use HTML, CSS for this, and let's start by making the heading 1 of Spider-Man, and after that let's make a div of class container, and inside that container we will use an image of class, also give it a class of Spider-Man, and I will add a source. I will basically use this image which is present online. Okay, now I will create a div of class shadow because I need to add the shadow. You can see that the shadow is changing. Shadow was changing behind when it was moving up and down. Now let's style or this Spider-Man, and let's give it a, basically I am adding MOZ box sizing. This is for basically for all the web pages, for Internet Explorer, all the versions as well, WebKit as well for box sizing, border box, and for the box sizing border box. Basically the WebKit and Moz will be used for, so that it will work on each of the browsers, Safari, Google Chrome as well. Now HTML body, I'm just styling it, giving it a height and width, overflow of hidden, and giving it a margin of 0. Okay, now let's give it a background. Background should be blackish or maybe 0575 E6, your bluish background. Okay, now as I have given the bluish background, I will just give it a background of WebKit linear gradient, and for the linear gradient I will use to bottom and give it basically colors, which will be hash 2021B79 and hash 0575E6. Okay, now let's basically give it a background of linear gradient as well. The upper one will work for the different browsers, and I am adding background linear gradient to bottom. Basically I'm giving the same values for the current version of my Google Chrome. Okay, now I have given the background. Now I will go back, and you can see that the div have, I have seen that there is an image, and I will change the position of my, I will give it a max width of 100% and giving it a heading of font size of 52 pixels, give it the text align of center, and also give it the color of hash FFC6666. Okay, give it a text shadow 1 pixel 0 and red, also give it a margin of 0 pixels. Now you can see how the background has a linear gradient and how Spider-Man changed the color of Spider-Man and stuff. Now let's use this container, class of container, give it a width of 300 pixels, also, or maybe give it a display of flex first, and give it a flex direction of column, because you can see Spider-Man will be moving up and down. Now give it justify content center, line content center as well. Now inside the container you can see that there is a class of Spider-Man, so I'm using that Spider-Man, and I'm giving it a width of 300 pixels, giving it a vertical align of top, and a margin top of -60 pixels, and an animation of name of animate. I will create this later. Now give it an animation duration of 2 seconds and animation iteration count infinite, animation direction of alternate. I have given the margin top -60 because I don't want the rope to be shown. Okay, so it should be attached from the top. Now let's use the class of shadow. For the class of shadow, I will give it a width of 200 pixels, give it a height of 200 pixels, 20 pixels, and a margin of 20 pixels and 0 as well. Now give it a margin left of 20 pixels. Background color should be RGBA 000 and an opacity of 0.2. Now let's give it a background or repeat of, maybe give it a border as well, border radius of 50%, animation of SOMBRA 2 second alternate. I will create this later, this animation SOMBRA I created later. Okay, Basically there will be two animation, one for the shadow and one for the movement of the Spider-Man. Now let's create the both of them. The first was an animer, and from transform translate y minus 100 pixels, and 2 transform translate y and 0 pixels for the movement of the Spider-Man. And then the next one SMBRA, and basically this will be for the shadow. Give it a 0% transform scale x to 1, and change 100 for the 100% I will give it a transform of scale 0.6, so that the shadow should be increase and decrease, and give it an opacity of 0.2. Now you can see that the shadow is now changing, and I have achieved which I really wanted. I hope you like the video. If you like it, subscribe to the channel. Thank you so much.